changed the music up a little bit today. I kind of like it. That is a pretty impressive sunrise. It's sunrise right now? I don't know what time it is anymore.
You can't tell sunrise from sunset.
I live indoors, and I don't even know what time it is. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are. We really appreciate you finding us today. Of course, we are live here 5 days a week, every morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. That's what time it is, Nick. And we appreciate you finding us. So, like I said, we are live. We're broadcasting on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, all those different places you can find us and comment. Leave your comments, your questions there with us on the docket today. Coming up a little bit later on the show, we're going to be joined by Ian Balina, who is a cryptocurrency investor, entrepreneur, and author to talk about some of the trends in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and what's going on with that. He'll bring us up to date on all of that. We've got Luke Larson, one of our computing editors, who's going to hop on and talk about the weirdest laptops that he has seen over the last year. And I think he has all of them here in studio. Some of the strangest adaptations that we've seen this year. He's going to have those to discuss and talk about with you. And I'm Greg Nibbler, and here in studio with me for the first time on Digital Trends Live, it is Nick Mokay, managing editor of Digital Trends. Hello.
My inaugural appearance.
It is.
I've somehow escaped it so far. You guys launched this show when I was on vacation, and
That's
then it's
right.
just been a nonstop parade of guests after.
Yeah.
So I'm finally making it on.
You're here. You're joining us. First time on the set. Nick has been around Digital Trends for a long time, so having you on here is imperative. It's been important, and I'm glad you're here.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about some stuff. So we've got Nick on here today, not only to join us here for Digital Trends Live, but also to talk about a really, really great feature piece that just went up on Digital Trends, and it's the best products of 2018, which is, if you don't know, a lot of products to go through to come up with this. And so we're going to be kind of going over that here in a few, just what you guys went through coming up with this.
Yeah, I actually did some research yesterday. I was curious. We reviewed 819 products in 2018. So our editors combed through a lot of stuff to, whittle the list down to the best of the best.
Yeah, and I want to hear about the background of it and how all that works. And we want to hear, too, from you who are watching live, what are your favorite products of 2018? Did you buy one thing that stood out? Like, if you had your own list, what would it be on it? And so let's get those in there, and then we're going to go over our list, and we've got some actual products we're going to be going through. We'll explain the castle here on the table here in just a little bit, and we'll go through some of the different products that we've got. We've got them here in studio. Like I said, we'll bring them up onto the table. But let's go to first, we've got a news story, and then we're going to do our Read 'em and Weep, and we'll cover a couple of other things. Every day, I take a look at what's trending, what the top stories are, and this day, once again, it is a Samsung rumor. We've got Samsung S10 rumors. These never go away, and eventually, I think they'll have to release the phone, or they'll just never release it. It'll just every year, it'll be, did you hear about the S10? Maybe it's coming out. Well, this one now is actually, to me, it seems a little bit more legitimate, and the overall topic here with this, the big point is, the S10 may still keep the headphone jack. So this comes from a case maker. Let me pull up the company actually who makes the case and who makes the case. And so we've got, it's case maker Olixar. And so they make protective cases, and for any of these new phones that are coming out, the actual people who make the phone cases find out a lot before anybody else does, because somebody's got to make these things.
Right. Can't always trust the little prototype cases that come out, but a lot of times they have details way before the actual phone comes.
And this is one, so this was leaked by an accessory retailer named Mobile Fun, who's already listed these products apparently on their website, complete with images that they're probably not supposed to do. I'm sure they got a letter afterwards saying, yeah, you're not supposed to post that yet. But yeah, it shows the Olixar cases and the prototypes of the phones that would go with it. But the headphone jack is being shown as part of it. Now, Nick, let me ask you this, just straight up question. Are you in favor or against going forward with the headphone jack?
Of course we still need a headphone jack. I am thrilled to see that Samsung is maybe planning on keeping it around. To me, that makes a lot of sense, right? It's a key differentiating feature. Not only, I mean, we know that the iPhone has been missing it for 2 generations now,
right,
but a lot of Android phones have ditched it as well. So it's, at this point, for Samsung to keep it around on the S10 makes a lot of sense. And I know a lot of us have switched to wireless headphones, but anybody who invested in like a nice pair of headphones in the last decade still wants to keep using them with a standard headphone jack without the dongle that you always lose. And then you have to pay Apple,
or
10 bucks,
whoever,
I think
yeah.
it is, or whoever, yeah.
Yeah.
To replace the dongle. I think it makes a lot of sense to keep the headphone jack, particularly if they can keep the phone pretty thin as well, because that was kind of the original reason for ditching it, right? Is you know, we can have fewer parts in the phone, we can make it slimmer.
Right. So that's, and to me, I mean, I do still like the headphone jack, and I admit, I mean, I want that, but also I think at some point we will, as tech consumers, have to move past it. Like at some point, it's going to be one of those things where we just have to say like, no, we can't have it anymore.
Look, we don't have cassette players in our car anymore. Half of us don't even have CD players anymore. So I acknowledge at some point it's going to go, but I just think there's enough people that still have legacy headphones that appreciate that it's a feature worth including. I'm one of them. So I admit I have bias in this.
So now is not the time. So Samsung, if that is true, good job on that, because Google got rid of it. The Pixel, I believe the new Pixel 3, didn't they drop the headphone jack?
I believe they did as well. Yeah.
I believe they did, and then of course the iPhones, dropped it a while ago. So yep, it might be a good even marketing move just to keep it there for a little bit longer.
Absolutely, keep it.
But we're all going to
at least for another year. Come on, give us
another year. We're all going to have to move on at some point. All right, let's go to our Read 'em and Weep segment. This is where, actually, I'm really excited to have Nick on here to talk about this. So this is where we take a look at the different comments and questions that have come through on our site. And there's a lot to scour through, and Jake spends some time and kind of cherry pick some of them, good and bad, that we have. And I never take a look at them beforehand, so I'm surprised when we see them as well. Who knows how that'll work out sometimes. We've got Nick at Tesla RSX3 regarding digital trends, best technology of 2018, e-scooters. It's not a technology, it's a damn scooter, it's a damn lazy toy. So that's very adamant about this.
Well, one of the things that I loved about picking the e-scooter, and I have to admit this, is it gets under people's skin because they are very, very polarizing.
Oh,
In this office, the discussions that we've had about that as a pick have been very heated. People love the scooters or hate the scooters, and I think that's part of, I mean, that's one of the reasons it was the tech of 2018 is like, it actually, whether or not you actually are riding them, they've affected your life.
Yeah.
You've seen them strewn all over the street, or you've maybe almost gotten clipped by one on the sidewalk or whatever. Like, they are very much part of our lives in 2018 if you live in a major city.
Yep.
So we couldn't ignore that. The reason we made it a technology and not best product, you can't really buy them at this point. So we kind of changed the criteria a little bit for this year. But I think as a technology, again, loosely used, they are definitely changing our lives. Have you ridden one, Greg?
I have. I actually didn't want to admit that for a long time because it is so polarizing, because it depends on who you're around.
Now everybody knows.
I know, everybody knows. I tried one. I tried it. The shocks are not good. I live in a section of town where the roads aren't that great. So yeah, I did not enjoy riding it as much.
Hanif is going to be very angry at you when he finds out that you've ridden one.
I know. Oh God, I'm not even gonna, we're gonna have to barricade ourselves in here.
Chief advocate for...
No one tell Hanif that it happened. I mean, it is funny just the stories with these two, just of, especially in, I think it was San Francisco, where there's so many that they're finding in the bay.
Oh,
People
yeah.
just are throwing them into the rivers, which also, if you're against the scooters, that's not very environmentally friendly. I'm going to say throwing it into the water, although kind of funny. But yeah, I think it definitely is relevant to be a technology.
Damn lazy toy. I think that's kind of harsh, honestly.
Well, Nick at TLSARX3, this Nick disputes you. All right, let's go on to the next one here of our comments and our questions. On the Snap 1, regarding 2019 Porsche Macan S, Porsche's bestseller gets even better. I sold, Macan, is that the right pronunciation for that? We're just gonna go with it.
Yeah, let's go with Macan.
Okay, I sold my Macan GTS to buy a Model 3 Performance. No regrets at all. I won't go back to Porsche until they ship their electric crossover. All right. Well, good for you for having the ability to go back and forth between those two. Number one, looks like you're doing pretty well for yourself. But yeah, congrats.
I've yet to hear any bad feedback from anybody who's bought a Model 3. Like,
yeah,
rave reviews across the board.
Yeah, it seems like everybody is.
I know that there was a big scare initially that they were going to be very poor build quality, and like people are talking about the panel gaps are too big, and Tesla doesn't have their game together. But the few people that I know have either purchased one or ridden in one have nothing but good things to say. Well, it looks like On the Snap 1 is doing pretty well as well. So, all right, On the Snap, thank you for your feedback. You can send your old Porsches over here next time. All right, Diaz Idle Texan. Okay, regarding digital trends, this is a survival capsule. How does one breathe in one of those? Also, it can instead of it does float.
All right, so we have a couple of questions. I think this is, I actually didn't read this story yet. I'm sure you know what it is.
I do not. I have not read the story either.
It's a survival capsule that you get into, I think, during a natural disaster. I don't know if it survives like a nuclear explosion or something, but you hop in this thing and I think it'll float on water and you can live in a little bubble capsule for a while, or like a steel capsule.
I think the second part of the comment is expressing some skepticism. Like, are we not confident that this will actually float when the time comes?
Ah, okay. That's what they're talking about. I wasn't sure if it was a grammatical issue or where they were going with that one.
It could be.
Okay.
I'll Texan, if it was a grammatical issue, I sincerely apologize.
Well, I mean, how does one breathe in that? You know, honestly, I don't know, but that's why we have the review up there, digitaltrends.com. Well, I don't know if it's a review. I doubt we have one.
And how would we review a survival capsule?
Drew, number one.
Yes,
and then,
that's true.
And then we put Drew in it, and we get a helicopter and we drop it, you know, and then like 2 days later we go pick it back up.
Sold. All right, let's go talk to Drew about this.
Drew, there it is. You've got a new task this weekend. All right, the good comment there, DZ. All right, let's see. Take a look at our next one here. We've got Peter Hill regarding this freewheeling army truck turned tiny home is a labor of love. New age gypsy wagon is all that truck is. Wow. All right.
I did see this one.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool looking, honestly. Yeah. It's not for everybody, though, I admit.
I mean, you travel quite a bit.
I do.
Is this something that you would want to travel?
I would love to do it in the back of a giant army truck that has, you know, a kitchen and whatnot back there. Yeah, it definitely, again, it's not everybody's aesthetic. Like, it's definitely a very DIY, minimalist, Instagram-friendly kind of setup back there.
Yeah.
But it looks pretty cool to me.
Yeah. See? So, all right.
The gas mileage, I think, is what would kill the army truck.
That's true. Yeah, that would.
You go 2 miles, and then you're filling back up again.
And you turn around and go back home. All right. Well, Peter, thank you. And let's see, how many more do we have here? We've got to. Oh, all right. We've got 2 more here. We've got Michael Payton, Novo Yoga Chromebook C630 review. Why do these reviews always add some? I feel like I have to read this angry. I don't even know what he's going to say. Why do these reviews always add some line about being better off with Windows? Most of us who have already used Chrome OS have no interest in Windows. Ever. Again. Seriously. There is zero reason for any normal person to buy or use Windows ever. All right. That is a very intense opinion there, Michael, that you have, as I'm sitting here with my Windows machine. Yeah, this is a big debate. We actually talked about this particular, I think it was this computer, maybe it was a different one that we had on here with Luke a while ago, where he was showcasing a Chromebook, I think an iPad, and like a Surface. And people with their Chromebooks or Chrome OS are very, very hardcore about it.
You know what, though? Like, if you can get by with just Chrome OS, great. That's really good for you. Like, honestly, it is a great OS if you just need to use the things that it gives to you, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that can't, which I think is why we constantly talk about, like, Windows is still a viable option, because if you need to go outside of sending email and watching videos and the sort of basic browser-based task that Chrome OS makes very easy, Windows is still a better option for that, which is, to answer your question, Michael Payton, that's why we always keep talking about going back to Windows, because there's just a lot of stuff you can still do with Windows that you can't do with Chrome OS. I'm sorry.
Not for normal people, though.
Oh, that's true. Michael. Well, so, I guess we're not that normal.
Sorry, Michael. Congratulations on being the only normal person. All right, let's do one more review. We got one more comment here. Donnie Dennison. I already like his name.
I wonder if this is Caleb's long-lost brother.
Oh, yes, his alter ego. Donnie Dennison gets on and comments on all of the things. Regarding Amazon Fire TV Cube review, actually it was probably a Caleb review. I would have liked and possibly watched more had you muted the wake word like many other reviewers do. My Echo show kept popping on. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Although you kind of know if you're going to be watching an Amazon Fire TV Cube review, I would say, just to play devil's advocate there, you know they're going to say Alexa. Sorry, I just did myself. Oops. Whoops. Donnie Dennison. Now that is just too random.
I mean, we should consult Caleb and see if there's maybe a relative out there that is reading his reviews and is apparently not very happy with him right now.
That would be with Caleb. Yeah, I want to see. We need to search all of our comments and see how many Donnie Dennison comments on. And if they're just Caleb reviews, there's a mystery here that we're going to get to the bottom of. All right. I think we need to move along to talk about these products, because I know we're going to be running out of time, but I do want to get to one story. Let's get one story in, one of our headline news, and then we'll see if we have time for the other ones on the back end. But let's talk about this Puma story that came out. Yes,
hoping that was what we would choose.
We've got to. Puma in the news for some technology, and I did not even realize this was a product back in the day. But in 1986, Puma was way ahead of its time when it comes to even, I guess, wearables, you could call this. And it is the Puma, let's see, this product was called the Puma RS Computer. And it was a shoe. Here's one of the original showcases of it. I don't know if that was at CES or
this was at Comdex, I found out. Yeah, which is like kind of a competing CES that has closed in recent years, but like back in the day, this was definitely the equivalent of CES.
It is amazing, this this commercial
footage.
So yeah, this footage from it. So the shoe had basically a little computer on the back of it that would keep track of your miles and I think your calories. There were like 3 things that it would keep track of, and then you would take it and plug it in with like one of those 16-pin plugins into a computer where it would read out, your distance and all of that. I mean, that really is, for 1986, I mean, that's way ahead of its time.
I was kind of blown away that this thing existed in 1986. Like, watching this footage is kind of unreal, because really, like, when it shows them plugging it into the computer, it's the same specs that we expect from our Apple Watch today, and it's actually at a fairly sleek form factor for 1986. Like, yeah, it's got a big, like, blocky chunk coming off the back of the shoe, but it's not that bad, all told. I really want to know, and I was trying to find before this segment, what that thing cost in 1986. I could not find it anywhere. If anyone out there finds what the Puma RS cost in 1986,
that is
really,
a
really
good
curious
point
about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do not know. I mean, I imagine it was expensive for back then.
I have to think so. Yeah, it seemed like very advanced, particularly how small they made that for the time. I really want to know what it cost back then. We don't know the cost today, but they're only selling 86 of these things.
Yeah, in honor of 1986.
Very collectible shoe.
Yeah, they're bringing it back with a newer kind of a revamped version of it, where it actually has Bluetooth and it does all the things that you expect a smartwatch to do now, essentially, or any kind of a workout technology. But it looks just the same.
It does, yeah.
I really, really want a pair. If you come across a pair and you don't want it anymore, please send it into Digital Trends. I will wear those. I'll absolutely wear those things. Would you wear them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably get them stolen right away, but nonetheless, I would still wear them. So, all right, we've got that. That is the Puma RS coming back, and we've got an article at Digital Trends. You can check that out there. But let's go on to talking about our best products of 2018, because we have some actual products we want to bring here onto the desk to talk to you about. So this is something that every year, Nick and the entire staff, all of our editors, go through all of these products. I think you said it was 800 and some products?
Yeah, 819 products this year we reviewed.
819 products that were reviewed here from Digital Trends, where we went through these and tried to find the best of the best. And that's one of the things I want to ask you out there right now is, what were your favorite products of 2018? No matter what the category, if it's anything in tech, what were your favorites? I've got a couple of mine that I actually really kind of stood out for me, and then there's a bunch that I really wanted that I didn't get. But nonetheless, there's a lot of technological advances that happened this year, and it's really hard to pick the best ones. And so why don't we go through, well, I guess just really quick, just to explain again, how do you make these selections? How do you do this?
Right, so each of our section editors makes these selections for themselves. So, Ryan, who is responsible for all our audio stuff, is picking the best headphones. These are the editors that did all of the reviews this year.
Okay.
So they know better than anybody what the best ones were.
Definitely. Yeah, so they kind of go through and they have to make those decisions as far as what.
Yeah, and it's sometimes hard. I mean, there's multiple great products out there vying for our attention, and we're trying to figure out, which one really nailed it.
What is the best? And why don't we go through, which one do you want to start with, actually?
Well,
the behemoth that's in the
Yeah,
room,
why don't we get this one out of the way, since it's huge and we can move it later. This is our favorite 3D printer of 2018, which is the $500 Photon from Anycubic. So the cool thing about this thing is that it is a SLA printer, which stands for stereolithography.
Ooh.
So this is not the type of 3D printer that you've probably seen in the past that has like a little nozzle that shoots out plastic. It takes forever. It's really loud.
Right.
This thing actually has a bath of resin, basically, and it uses UV to sort of pull the object literally like rises out of the bath like it's being born.
Which I've seen some of these demonstrations. Yeah. It is really
wild,
crazy looking. Yeah, I mean, it looks like something from a sci-fi movie.
It does, yeah, and it's literally using UV light to cure the resin layer by layer as this object kind of comes out of the bath. The cool thing about that is that type of 3D printer, these have been around for a while, but they've never been $500. This is never something you could afford to put in your home before, particularly one that does this quality, which I think you can see. Hopefully it's coming across on the camera here how insanely detailed this castle test print is.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so sharp, actually, Jake behind the scenes, like I think he cut himself on this because the spires are so sharp. Like, it's ridiculous, the detail. I mean, there's hollow points in there.
Yeah, these little turrets have like real.
Yeah, they're hollowed out.
Thread a needle through some of the gaps that are on there.
And this is actually just straight up printed through this thing.
Yeah, it also feels pretty solid. I don't know if you picked that thing up, but it's sturdy.
Oh yeah.
It's not like some of the really cheap feeling 3D prints that we've had in the past.
Yeah, not that you would use it.
So yeah, for $500, that thing is awesome. Kind of breaking new ground for bringing that SLA technology to the home. It's
really cool. I don't know what I would print, but I would definitely use one.
So we got to talk about these headphones.
Yes.
I want you to try these on. So these are the Sony WH-1000X Mark III headphones. So these are wireless headphones, noise canceling headphones. If you know anything about noise canceling, you know everybody talks about Bose. These are way better.
Really?
Let me just make sure they're working so I can give you the demo. I think they're on there. But yeah, go ahead and try those on. It is like downright creepy. Oh, I think they turned themselves off. Hold on. It is downright creepy when you put those on, how good they are at canceling noise. And I know it's quiet in here, but it still makes a huge difference.
Whoa. Wow, that is, I know this is, we're on camera, but this is seriously really quiet.
It's really, and it works. I mean,
this would keep out a lot of crying babies on a plane.
We're in a quiet studio, so it's not a very good demo, but I mean, if you use those, I've tried them in like our crowded editorial bullpen or like on a plane. Like, it is game-changing.
Except for I have my earpiece in, so I can hear the producers now. It sounds like everybody's breathing in my ear when I put these on.
Oh, terrible.
But nonetheless, these things are awesome.
Yeah, so besides the noise canceling, the sound quality on those is fantastic. Like, they weren't just our favorite noise canceling headphones of 2018, they were our favorite wireless headphones. They sound really good.
How much are these?
Those are $350.
Okay.
They are not cheap.
So they're an investment, if you really want them.
There is a Mark II version of that from last year that's a little bit cheaper. So if $350 is like too steep, you can go with last year's technology, which is still really good. And those are usually on sale.
Sweet. So this is the best wireless and the best headphones.
Yeah. And those have 30 hours of battery life too, which is pretty impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually really impressive.
And they charge really quickly. If you're on a plane and you just need to juice them up really quickly, 10 minutes of charging lets you use them for 5 hours. So
I really want a pair of these.
Yeah, me too. Those are Caleb's.
Yeah. Dang it. Next question. All right. So these are the Sony WH-1000XM3.
Yes.
Straight off of memory. I memorized that. It's not on my computer at all. All right, let's go on through
it. While we're talking audio, we'll get to this guy really quick. This is the Riva Concert. It is a portable Bluetooth speaker. This one actually has Alexa in it. So in the past, like a lot of the Alexa speakers, they're more about like having the smart home functionality than sound quality. This thing sounds amazing though. And it has a battery pack, so you can use it you can plug it in or you can use it with an optional battery pack. It sounds amazing. It has Alexa. It is splash proof, so you can use it by the pool. And we called it our one of the best sounding compact speakers we've ever reviewed.
Wow. I mean, and I will know, I've said this before on the show, just for, if you read any of Ryan's reviews, he is a serious audiophile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to this. He's not joking around.
Not easily impressed.
Yes.
This thing is $200. It's not cheap, but it's definitely, like, if you have the need for something that's small that sounds good and that has Alexa, like, unrivaled.
$200 actually isn't that bad comparatively. I mean, if you figure this is going to last for a while, the idea that it has a battery pack on it too is really, really cool. I think that's a huge bonus to me.
Yeah, take it wherever you want.
Yeah, take it on the road. Yeah, really cool. And it has Alexa in it. So this was the Riva Concert.
Riva Concert.
Okay.
Yep.
And all these reviews are at digitaltrends.com, of course, and under this best products of 2018. But we're just kind of giving you a sample of some of these.
Next we
have. I get to pick one of them to keep afterward, I think is what it was. See, Nick said yes. All right.
This is our favorite laptop of 2018. This is the Dell XPS 13. You can see here, I actually have a version from I think 2 years ago The Dell XPS 13 has been our favorite laptop since like 2015. Every single year, they just make it better and better. And this year is no different. It's you can't quite see, definitely not on camera, but it's slimmer than previous years.
Yeah.
So everything keeps getting slimmer. This color is actually new for 2018. It's not my cup of tea, but it is something different at the very least. It's also faster, obviously, this year. Laptops always are. One of the coolest things about this is they actually use Gore fabric, like the same stuff that you
Oh, really? Is that what this is right here?
That is not. It's actually inside. So they're using that as insulation to keep the heat away from you.
Interesting.
So, yeah, they're basically...
So you don't get the hot lap situation.
And it sounds very gimmicky, but in testing, it actually worked pretty well for us. It is fast, and it does not burn your lap. So,
so this is the Dell XPS 13.
Yes.
Once again, yeah, being the best product. And, and again, let us know, too, what your favorite products of the year are. But I know Matt loves these. I know, everybody.
The whole DT staff at this point,
yeah.
We pretty much have the XPS 13. The slim bezels on this are really nice around the screen. You can see there's not much around it. That's something, again, that design is old, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel every year. This is definitely our favorite laptop of 2018.
If you got it going, you got it going. Yeah, so there we go. So that's another one of our best products of 2018. This does look slick too, just on top of it. It's nice. It's a nice looking laptop.
Oh, absolutely. All right, our final pick that we have in house here, the Amazon Echo Dot. So obviously it's another evolutionary pick, right? This is our favorite smart home device. So a lot of people have these. Amazon has practically given them away in the past, the previous versions of it.
That's how I got my first one.
Yeah. This thing is $50. The amazing thing about it this year is that it actually sounds awesome. In the past, it's been kind of, I mean, I was talking about Alexa speakers. They have a kind of bad reputation because it's more about interacting with your smart home than actually like listening to music.
Yep.
You can actually enjoy music on a device this small this year for $50.
Yeah, and I know Kim was talking about this, and there were deals on them too for even cheaper for some of them. Yeah, Kim was talking about how great the speaker is.
Yeah,
just what an improvement they made on these things.
And the Google Home Mini is very similar, but if you put them side by side and listen to both, it's no contest. This thing sounds way better, and they're both $50. So you're talking about two very comparable products, and this is a hands-down winner on sound quality.
Nice. And do you use one yourself at home?
I do. I upgraded to a full-size Echo because I was so disappointed with the sound quality of the previous Dot that I had. Had I waited, because I did that probably about 6 months ago, I probably would have just gotten the newer version.
Stuck with this, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, this one, I've got one of these at home, and then I actually have a Google Home Mini as well. But I don't know. I don't use sound as much on them. I've got them in different rooms. I use Amazon's more. Yeah, because I also have the Fire TV Cube. I'm becoming an entire smart home house without the smart home other things. But the Amazon Fire TV Cube, that's probably my favorite product of 2018. Like if I had to pick one, just because I have it and I've used it, and it's such a great product.
That was our favorite media streamer of 2018.
Oh,
we don't have it
see,
here,
there it is.
It was our pick.
All right, so it made the list. Well, all of these can be checked out at digitaltrends.com under our best products of 2018. And Nick, thank you for hopping in here today too.
Of course.
It's good to have you back finally on the show for the first time, but we'll have to have you back on here.
Absolutely, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Definitely, and check out all the hard work that everybody here at Digital Trends put in. Take a look at these best products of 2018. Let us know what your favorite products are, and if you agree or disagree, put them in the comments, because as you know, we read the comments. We will read them. We may disagree with you, we may agree with you, but either way, we'll read them, and we appreciate you leaving those comments, and we appreciate you tuning in to Digital Trends Live every day. And coming up on the show, still, we've got Ian Balina, who's going to be talking about cryptocurrency, and up next, our segment's going to be with Luke Larson, who has been on this show a few times, and Luke is one of our computing editors, and he's going to talk about some of the weirdest laptops that he's seen this year, and I believe we have all of them here with us, but just some of the interesting designs, some steps some different companies took, maybe going out on a limb a little bit, so we're going to talk about those. Drop your questions, your comments right in there, and we'll be back in just about a minute or so with more Digital Trends Live. Back with more Digital Trends Live. Thanks for tuning in. Like we said, drop in those comments and questions right there. And now we are joined by Luke Larson. Hello, Luke.
Hey, Greg.
How's it going?
Really good.
So, best products of 2018 has kind of been something that we've been talking about on the show, and there's a huge feature up about it. But beyond that, there's also all kinds of interesting features and things that have come out this year, over this last year.
Yeah, and it's funny because talking about products of the year, and we review so many products in the office.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm reviewing all these laptops all year, and you great ones like the XPS 13 you guys just talked about. But there are also just weird things that come through, and even in laptops where it tends to be a little more conservative, a little more samey,
Yeah.
It's a laptop, right? But there are occasionally just these weird laptops that come out, and it's
Just differences.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you look at so many, I can't even imagine, how many you see throughout the year.
Right.
And I'm sure looking at the differences, when somebody does something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, I'm sure it stands out.
Right. It really stands out because a lot of them look the same.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they all do
laptop is a
similar
laptop.
things.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But we are in an interesting moment right now with laptops where companies are starting to experiment and just try things, which is kind of a cool moment to be in because I think it has been very much the same for years. And
yeah.
I think now we're just in an interesting moment. So hopefully it's a transition into some cool stuff.
Something cool. Maybe at CES. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. So for all the ones we're going to talk about, I see these as things that are going to be, they're forward-looking. Not all of them are super successful in terms of how they actually function and how you actually would use them today, but they all point to something in the future, I think, that could be interesting.
Nice. So. Well, why don't we walk through some of the different ones. You've got one here in studio, and I know I was saying earlier that we might have all three, but we've got some images for the other ones, so we'll talk about the other ones as well. Well, we got this one right here.
Yes, and this one I think it's good to start with because this one is the one that does experimental and weird, except does it in a way that actually works well as an actual product. You can actually use this for what it's intended to, and you would be totally happy buying it.
So this, which one is this that we have here?
This is the HP Spectre Folio, and the main thing right off the bat is the thing is made of leather.
So and that's so fascinating to me. So if you're looking at it right now, you might think that this is just a case that's on there, that you put on outside of it, but no, this is actually leather.
It's actually the computer is built into the leather, and on the front side you can see. On the back it just looks like a case kind of.
Yeah, it looks like a notebook, like an actual physical notebook.
Right. Whoa. Spoilers.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to show that yet.
All right.
But you can see, you can see the keyboard deck goes right into the leather, and so you get this really interesting, totally new. We've never seen a product like this quite before, and it's not thick. It's not bulky because of the leather, but yeah.
So what is the point of making it out of leather? I mean, other than it's cool. It feels nice.
Yeah, great. I mean, I think there's the first thing, which is just it looks cool, and I think not only does it look cool, I think it has a premium kind of feel. You upgrade your car, you put leather in the seats or whatever.
Right.
I think that's the idea here. It's not
got the
faux
leather.
Yeah, exactly. It comes in a couple different colors, and what's really cool about it is
full-on leather.
I'll show the other really cool thing about the leather, what it allows it to do, because this is a 2-in-1 device. So it is a laptop. Unlike a lot of 2-in-1s, you can actually put it on your lap and use it as a normal laptop. It feels totally normal. But because of the leather, you can actually do this cool thing with the 2-in-1 functionality. So basically that pops out there.
Oh, nice.
And you can slide it forward, and you get that mode, which is a really weird mode. But basically it's kind of like a medium mode. You might watch a movie there, but you also have access to the trackpad there. The whole thing is touch, obviously. So you can do that, and then you can also move it back, go full, tablet mode like that.
That's
and
pretty
what
awesome.
allows it to do that is the leather, because the leather is a flexible
That's true.
material. It's not like plastic or metal.
Now, going forward, do you think this is something that other companies will adopt, or that they'll continue on with this, or is this just a one-off? Let's see if we can do it.
It might be the leather specifically might just be a one-off thing, but I do think that what this is pointing to is a future where companies are starting to use these different materials other than just plastic or aluminum or something.
Yeah.
We're going to see them start to experiment with Like, what else can we make this out of to make it stand out in the market? Because, and what really allows them to do this could not have been made a few years ago, at least not in the way that it is here, because this has a Intel Y series processor in it, which is super low power. It's fanless, completely fanless, so like the heat is really low, and that's what allows them to put this leather wrapping on it.
Yeah, so it's not gonna get super hot and.
Right, and it's a low power, but it's also like a pretty good performer. So like you could use this as your main laptop. You would have no problem at all with that. It's not gonna like blow off the charts, but it's totally capable.
Right.
And has great battery life, all the kind of things you would want in a laptop. So,
wow. Made out of leather.
So would you buy the fully leather?
I would use one. I don't know if I'd get the fully loaded leather with the undercoat. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it takes a certain amount of like, I don't know. I don't think I would either. Like, this doesn't quite fit me. Like, I need a leather laptop.
I would use one
Totally.
if it were given to me.
Totally.
I don't think I would purchase one, but I do think that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That they're trying out some different things.
Yep.
Giving a different look and adding more style into it, because, like you said, they all look so much the same that maybe style is going to be one of the differentiations.
Yeah, especially if they can,
use.
like I said, if like they can actually do it in a way that doesn't like ruin the entire computing experience.
Yeah.
Like I think in the past, gimmicky things like that would just like, it's worthless outside of the gimmick. Whereas this is like, it's actually a really capable, laptop. So.
Well, and so that's the HP Spectre Folio.
HP Spectre Folio.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we've got a couple more that we wanted to talk about too. So again, taking a look at some of Luke's, the weirdest or some of the most out there laptops, the ones that took a little bit of a chance on some things.
Yeah.
Good or bad. Which one do you want to talk about here?
Well, we'll save the weirdest for last. So
Okay.
let's go next to the Pixel Slate.
Okay, the Pixel Slate.
Yeah, we've brought it on the show before, but I wanted to mention it because it has, I think it's pointing towards a future where it's experimenting a lot with operating system and software.
Now, is this a Chrome OS?
This is Chrome OS, and it's a tablet, obviously you can see there in the video. But like a Surface Pro, like you've got here, it can be used as a laptop also because there's that keyboard that attaches to it. What's interesting about the Pixel Slate and what Google's doing with Chrome OS is you've got...
Look, there you are.
There I am on a different day. In a different
It'd be
shirt.
awkward if you had the same shirt on.
I've always wondered if that could happen at some point.
Oh, it could. Oh, yeah.
I've only got so many shirts. So it could happen. The Pixel Slate, though, has Android apps on it, and it has all this new tablet functionality that kind of takes Chrome OS, which has typically been, a desktop operating system, and makes it a tablet. It's like, and it actually merges those two worlds in a really interesting way. And unlike really anything that's out there, they don't really have that on the iPad. You don't really have that on Windows 10. They have the kind of the full picture. It's not a perfect product. It's got tons of issues, but I think this is the future that like a lot of people thought would have been here a long time ago.
Right, that kind of crossover style.
Yeah.
So you think that's where it's headed? Will it ever have like this much functionality as like a Windows?
I would hope so. I think like Google is going to continue to like put some of those features into it, but also like I think the way we use computers is changing. And, like, our dependence on web applications and just like the browser is increasing by the day,
Everything. I don't know how much I've switched to that's just Google Docs,
Yeah.
I switched to a lot of that. So yeah, I can see that that's the way it's going. I think it's definitely a hot button issue, but even by our comments that we had earlier today,
for real.
People get very defensive about Chrome or they're very against it. One or the other.
And that's going to be Google's main adversary here is just like overcoming public opinion, because I think people are just like Chrome OS, it's cheap, it's like junky, you can't do anything with it, it's just a web browser,
Right.
It has, and all those things are legitimate, but I think not so much. I'm not talking so much about this specific operating system, but I think in the future, mobile and desktop are gonna have to finally like be like meet in one device, so that we're not like living.
Gotta have a unifier there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the fact that that Chrome OS, that Chromebooks and everything like that are being used in schools so much, brilliant move on Google's part, just from a marketing standpoint. Like, here, kids, Why don't you get used to this?
Although, what's interesting is I've talked to kids about that, and they're like, oh, I hate my Chromebook, because it's like the Chromebooks they give schools are like $200, you know? So they're like, oh, they're only reaffirming the fact that these are like junky computers.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So they're like, give me anything other than a Chromebook when I graduate high school.
All right, so maybe that backfires. Yeah, that's why I'm not doing the marketing for Google. All right, we got that. Let's go on to our next one here.
Yeah, and this laptop. This one wins the award for craziest, most experimental. I don't even know if we'll see a computer like this. I mean,
really?
Again, this is like, I think this is forward-looking. This is pointing to the future of computing. It's the YogaBook C930. This was the most interesting laptop I reviewed this year by far. As you can see there, it doesn't have a keyboard.
Yeah, it's just all a screen.
Yeah, it's got two screens. The bottom one, where you normally would have a keyboard, is a e-ink screen. So it feels horrible to type on, as you can imagine.
And I remember I actually did try typing on this when you had it here. And it is a weird experience. Just a completely flat. I mean, it just feels like you're tapping on a. I mean, you're just tapping on a screen, just a blank screen, without that haptic feedback.
Yeah.
That at least I need just to feel like I'm. I don't know. Just
you certainly.
Normal. It just feels weird.
You certainly cannot like touch type without looking. Like you have to kind of like look down at your fingers. So like there's obvious like issues. So the e-ink screen also works as a like e-reader, so you can like flip it around. You can read books on it. So there's like these like interesting advantages. I don't think this device fully took advantage of the possibilities, because when you think about the fact that you could have two screens, like you could do so much with a second screen.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're not using the keyboard, you could put all sorts of like functions in there other than the keyboard. You know, there's just like all sorts of stuff you could do.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting thing. Like, do you think this is something that more people are going to do?
Yeah, and I think the obvious like problem has been the keyboard. Like people need a keyboard type.
Yeah, I need that feedback. Can we get more haptic feedback on something like that?
And I think that's the real question. That's what probably has kept companies from pursuing products like that until the tech is there. Whereas Lenovo was just like, we're just gonna do it and
just
put it
do
out
it,
there.
throw it out, see what happens.
And I have to give them like props for that, because like if the products are out there and people are experiencing them, seeing them, there's going to be like more of a demand for that, and I think companies will be pushed to actually solve that problem of like fixing the haptic feedback thing, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I'm hoping for, at least, coming out of that, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Well, and again, these are the top 3 that you picked.
These are the top 3. There's probably a couple more that I'd throw in. The Surface Go, maybe. That's a kind of a weird. It's a little tiny tablet. So there's a couple different weird interesting, but those are the 3 that I would point to. And the one that I would say does it the best is right here, the HP Spectre.
It's the leather. Got to have the leather.
Got to have the leather.
Well, Luke, thank you so much for hopping on to talk about these.
Yeah.
I mean, these are definitely interesting. And it's always crazy, where the innovation goes and what's actually going to take off and what won't take off. Mm-hmm. We'll know probably in a year.
Yeah.
Whether this becomes a trend or other companies start doing it. Again, and is there an article up about this, or we're just kind of talking about these? There's articles about all these computers.
Yeah, you can check out. There's full reviews for all 3 of these. Okay. Comparisons and whatnot.
And what's your Twitter handle?
Twitter handle is LA Larson EN11 on Twitter.
Larson11 on Twitter. Follow Luke. All right, Luke, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Here's what's going to happen for everybody watching Digital Trends Live. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back here in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. We're going to get kind of a refresher on it. We're going to talk about what the trends are, where it's going to be heading, and we're going to have Ian Balina on, a cryptocurrency investor, an entrepreneur, and author. I want all 3 of those things. I don't have those. But we're going to have Ian on to talk about that. So we'll be taking a quick break, hopping right back here with more Digital Trends Live. Stick with us. Drop your comments, your questions in there. Back in just a minute. Back with more Digital Trends Live every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, where we bring you tech headlines, we bring you topics, we bring you discussions, we bring you reviews, and we bring you great guests. And one of our guests up next is going to talk to us about cryptocurrency. We're going to talk about blockchain. It is Ian Balina. Hello, Ian. Thanks so much for hopping on today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.
So your titles, I'm looking here, you're a cryptocurrency investor, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author. Let's kind of walk through everybody, like how you got into cryptocurrency, how you got into all three of these different titles, and let's get a little bit of your backstory here for everybody who's watching.
Yes, sounds good. So I was working 4 years at IBM and IBM Analytics. I was a sales engineer and sales executive there, covering all of North America. Then a buddy of mine saw the amazing stuff IBM was doing in the blockchain space with Hyperledger and other stuff in the blockchain space. And he wanted me to put him in touch with the IBM blockchain director. And I asked why. He told me he was a Bitcoin developer. He was heavily involved in the blockchain space. He was also an investor. He told me he was launching a crypto fund. And that really got me curious and got me thinking, because before I thought blockchain and crypto was this dark web for people trying to buy drugs online or do bad stuff online, money launder. But as a businessman, as an investor, somebody who was dabbling in the stock market, when he told me this was something you could actually invest in as an investment, it got me really curious. And that's when I kind of began delving down this rabbit hole, and the rest is history. Now I'm working full-time in this space. Left my job last year to go all in.
I mean, I got to say that takes some guts to just have some guy tell you, yeah, man, I'm in blockchain and I'm investing in this and cryptocurrency, and trust me, like I picture like it's a dark bar, and you're just talking to this guy. But no, obviously they know what they're talking about. And so you start investing in it, and now, like you said, you're doing it full time. Cryptocurrency, blockchain, those are two words that are always, I feel like, in the news more than ever, especially when it comes to technology and I mean, all kinds of different facets. It's starting to spread into different things. Why don't we do, because we're going to talk about the trends for 2019. Real quick, let's recap 2018, just in blockchain and cryptocurrency. What were some of the big things that happened, the big stories that happened in that?
So big stories, January was the bull market, right? So from December 2017 to January 2018 was basically the pick of Bitcoin, the pick of crypto. Bitcoin was over $20,000 per one Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was basically on the moon. Everybody was talking about it. It was in the press. It was on CNBC. You had people making covers of magazines. Everybody and their mom wanted to buy a Bitcoin. But since then, Bitcoin has basically been falling off a cliff, right? As all markets, right? Whatever goes up must come down. So the hype has died down. Now we've seen more regulation coming into the space. So big stories include the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has been giving more guidance and also going after more people in this space, especially people in the ICO space. So for example, very hot in 2017. So in 2018, the ICOs have also been falling off as the price of Bitcoin has been falling off. So people who are making lots of money in this space, myself included, right, from via ICOs, now the innovation is now going more towards outside the US, right? The US has always been very fast to innovate from a technology standpoint, but in terms of the actual adoption, it's been slow due to regulation, right? So the SEC has been giving more guidance, trying to protect US investors. So they fined 2 ICOs and told them to refund investors their money, right? So meaning that people who invested in those ICOs and lost money, the SEC is protecting them and said they have to give that money back to investors. And then they've also been coming after exchanges like EtherDelta, which was one of the first decentralized exchanges, meaning that there wasn't a central person or government really controlling it. It was just something that was created for the community. But even with that being created in a decentralized manner, the SEC said there was still somebody that could be found at fault. So the SEC fined the founder of EtherDelta and fined him almost $400,000. And he basically had to shut down EtherDelta. So 2018 has basically been the year of the SEC coming in and trying to clean up the space, trying to bring more regulation, more compliance, right? So it's not total anarchy.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's cryptocurrency, like finally like growing up, if you want to use that term, and becoming more of a mainstream thing. And these are the growing pains you have to go through, I would think. Clearly I'm not a cryptocurrency investor and expert, but I would think those are the growing pains for any kind of technology like this to be adopted into a mainstream use. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But yeah, so we've got that. So 2018 is kind of that, going through those themes. What do we have to look forward to with 2019? What are the trends that we'll be seeing? If somebody wants to get into it, or what are the trends we're going to see in the news? Like you tell me, what should we look forward to?
So at the end of February 2019, the SEC is reviewing a ETF application for cryptocurrencies, right? So meaning that people with 401ks, your mutual funds, larger institutional investors, and also larger retail investors who invest via larger funds have the ability to purchase an ETF, an exchange traded fund, meaning as opposed to buying one particular cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or other altcoins out there, they can just buy an index fund that holds multiple cryptocurrencies and have that be the main exposure to crypto. So the SEC has been pushing back this deadline. It was actually supposed to be this year, but the SEC has been pushing this back a lot. And now, February 2019, at the end of that month, they'll have to make a choice whether they approve this or not. And if they end up with even other altcoins. So in my opinion, I think this could really be a catalyst for a new bull run in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, if people can start, again, if I understand it correctly, like investing like their 401k in cryptocurrency and things like that. I mean, yeah, that would definitely make a big change. That makes it a more tangible experience for people to understand. Like, oh, I can make money on this, and this is how this is working, and to understand that. So that's interesting. That's in February, you said, is when that's going to be
February
decided.
2019.
So we got that. Any other major things that you're looking forward to in 2019? I know we got a couple other things we want to talk about as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the overall trend for ICOs maybe is on the decline. The new trend now, after all the regulation and compliance that's now coming into this space, are what are called STOs, security token offerings. So these are basically the same thing as securities, right? So your typical equities and stock market, being able to tokenize financial assets and make them available via cryptocurrencies and via tokens is probably the upcoming trend for 2019.
Okay. All right, so a couple of things to look forward to with that, seeing it as cryptocurrency advances and expands. All right, so what are some other things that we should look like? How do you, if I want to go invest, how do you evaluate like, oh, this is a good investment, or this is a startup cryptocurrency that's going to go nowhere? Like, what are the main for the layperson wanting to get into this? What are the main like 3 things they should know? Nope. I think they don't want us to know. That's what it is. That's why everything's cutting out right now.
Question.
Oh, there we go.
For me personally, the 3 things I look for before investing in any cryptocurrency, I look at the actual.
Got it.
So I mean, do you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. The 3 things I look for are the product and technology. Is it actually good technology, right? So with us, before investing in anything, we go through the actual technology. We have a team that goes through reviews the technology, right? To keep it simple, if you're just a beginner, if they're building an application, is the application finished? So is there a mainnet? Basically, you're looking to see the team can actually execute and isn't just trying to sell an idea, something that's pie in the sky that hasn't actually been built, right? You want to find something that and make sure the team can actually execute on the idea. Following that is the team, right? I look for all-star teams, people who have credible experience, who have worked for publicly traded companies, whether it's like your typical Facebook, Amazon, Google employees, and same thing for the advisors, people working with the company itself. Then last thing, I go through and look at the actual token metrics, how much money they're raising, how many total tokens they're creating, meaning what's the supply of the token?
I think we were talking about the supply. Okay, it sounds like we're having a little bit of connection issues because
the cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Are they going to print 1 billion tokens and make it right? So those are the main 3 things, just to kind of recap. So token metrics, how much they're raising, how many tokens they're printing and giving to the community, the team, and the product.
Fantastic. Those are great, great 3 things to look at. Well, Ian, I want to say thank you for hopping on here today too to talk about this. Where can people follow you and everything that you're doing?
So people can follow me as we're currently having a Crypto World Tour. We've done over 40 countries. So go to ianbalina.com. That's ianbalina.com. I have links up to all my social media. I have free books for beginners on cryptocurrencies, ICOs. My social media handles are Diary of a Made Man. That's on Instagram and Twitter, and also on YouTube.
Nice, fantastic. Well, Ian, thanks so much for hopping on today to talk about this. It's always great to learn some more about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and blockchain and everything, since we're going to be hearing so much more about it going forward. All right, and that was Ian Balina talking about that, and at Diary of a Made Man is a great handle. So Ian, thank you for being on there. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Digital Trends Live. We do appreciate it. Every day we're live here. Every day, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you all kinds of things. I mean, today we were talking about, in the beginning we had Nick Moke on talking about our best products of 2018. And then we continued on talking to Luke about some of the strangest computers, strangest laptops that we've seen this year. And then talking to Ian about blockchain. But there's something very important you need to pay attention to right now. Right now, I want you to mark your time, your calendars for tomorrow, because at about 9:30, well, just tune in at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, because tomorrow on the show, we're going to be joined by Marshawn Lynch. Yes, beast mode. Marshawn Lynch is going to be in here in studio. We're going to talk to him about all kinds of different things, but we need your comments and your questions. What do you want to ask Marshawn Lynch? Let us know. Write us on Twitter at Digital Trends. You can follow me at Greg Nibbler. You can shoot your question to me. I will ask him in person, although if it's too crazy, he's a very big man, so I'm not going to, and he's way faster than me. So keep it to something that I can safely ask him. But Marshawn Lynch going to be in here in studio. We're really looking forward to that. So that's tomorrow right here with Digital Trends Live. And again, thanks everybody. Hit subscribe, mark your calendars, be here every day with us, bringing you the greatest in tech headlines, news, and interviews. We'll be back tomorrow with more Digital Trends Live.